feet of clay walk you away from life today? It's Rhyme and Reason 705.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason.
Hey there, Tony here, and today I'm going to talk about pressure. Being under some serious pressure. You think you felt pressure? You ain't felt nothing. Nothing like the pressure I'm going to be talking about. I mean, even if you're not a Christian believer, you should read about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Yeah, sounds pretty cool, right? Sounds like an album title. Nebuchadnezzar's Dream, brought to you by... Okay, never mind. But Nebuchadnezzar's Dream is kind of story that Hollywood movies, they're always trying to tell these kind of stories, but they just kind of fail miserably for the same reason that King Nebuchadnezzar failed, because they stand on feet of clay. Now, that's a metaphor for standing on shaky ground. You could say that too. Now, well, here's a sneak preview, though, of the story about old King Nebi's dream. And the king said to them, I have a dream, and my spirit is anxious to know the dream. Then the Chaldeans spoke to the king in Aramaic. Side note, I don't know Aramaic, so I'm going to do it in English. O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will give the interpretation. But the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, My decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me and its interpretation, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made an ash heap. However, if you tell the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts, rewards, and great honor. Therefore, tell me the dream and its interpretation. That's a great voice. I love that voice. Sorry, that was me. Okay, now, like I said, that is some serious pressure. You got to not just interpret the dream, you have to tell the king what his dream was. And he's not telling you. He's not giving hints. You got to tell what the dream was and then interpret it. Now, just imagine being asked to interpret a dream. Okay, you can make stuff up, right? But then you get told, no, you got to tell me what my dream was and then interpret it. Now, that's impossible, right? Yeah, it's impossible for mere mortal men or even women. And, they're pretty good at stuff like that. But they couldn't do it either. But you know what? It's not impossible for God. So, there was this one guy, maybe you've heard of him, his name is Daniel, and he was a great example of how to trust God for the answers to most of life's difficult problems. And he was a doer. He wasn't just a hearer or a reader. So, Daniel never stood on feet of clay. Now, here's an example of standing on feet of clay, okay? He stood there on the sandy ground with feet of clay and looked around and heard an almost silent sound. His feet of clay became unbound. He felt the world begin to spin. It opened up and called him in. He heard a voice and saw a grin upon a face outlined by sin. The voice said, You are mine today, and here is where you'll always stay. Your selfishness brought you this way. You ran here on your feet of clay. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in to my Feet of Clay Pressure episode of Rhyme and Reason. It's brought to you, as always, by TonyFunderburk.com, maker of fine words, music, rhymes, reasons, books for kids, music for kids, and swag, merch for Christians, where you can go over to the merch tab, actually, and get that t-shirt that says, Life has Rhyme and Reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason for your